The traditional agency model is an operations trap disguised as a status symbol. For years, the standard playbook for scaling an agency to 5 or 6 figures a month followed a predictable, exhausting script. You sign more clients, which forces you to hire more account managers, copywriters, and media buyers, which immediately balloons your overhead and destroys your profit margins. Before you realize it, you are no longer a creative practitioner or a high-level strategist. You have accidentally built a high-stress, low-margin management company where your entire 60-hour workweek is consumed by resolving internal team conflicts, managing employee churn, and sitting in endless internal alignment meetings. You are trading your life force to maintain an expensive human infrastructure just to deliver basic digital assets. The emergence of hyper-advanced language models and sovereign automation pipelines has made this old playbook completely obsolete. It is now entirely possible to build, scale, and sustain a $10,000 per month agency as a true solo operator, working less than 4 hours a week on active operations. This isn't a pipe dream or a temporary shortcut. It is a cold, calculated shift in corporate architecture. By replacing traditional human headcount with a unified digital infrastructure, you can run a hyper-efficient agency that operates with near-zero overhead, zero personnel friction, and a profit margin that hovers close to 95%. To achieve this level of asymmetric leverage, you have to stop treating artificial intelligence as a simple writing assistant and start treating it as the central operational core of your enterprise. True leverage means building an integrated digital brain, a system where the advanced cognitive, reasoning capabilities of a model, like Claude, are natively wired into the automated, deterministic execution power of Google Flow. Today, we are opening up the exact technical blueprint for this autonomous agency system, showing you how to transform a chaotic manual agency into an invisible, self-running machine. The primary bottleneck in any service-based business is the sheer volume of high-level cognitive processing required to deliver results. Whether you are running a content agency, a copy clinic, or a strategic consultancy, every single client requires deep contextual understanding, unique brand alignment, and continuous strategic asset generation. In a legacy agency, this is why you hire expensive specialists. You need human brains to sit down, process client data, and convert it into high-value deliverables. We completely automate this entire operational tier by constructing what we call the cognitive synthesis matrix. This system utilizes Claude as a permanent, fractional director of operations, rather than a simple prompt and response text generator. Instead of pasting a brief into a chat window every time a client needs a deliverable, we construct a persistent, structured context layer using secure cloud repositories that interface directly with the model's API. This matrix holds the entire institutional memory of your agency permanently in the background. It stores your client's target audience demographics, competitive positioning profiles, past winning campaigns, and explicit brand voice guidelines down to the exact syllable length and punctuation preferences. When an execution trigger occurs, the system doesn't pull from a blank slate. It processes the raw inputs through this comprehensive contextual filter. Because the model understands the deep history and active goals of the client, it generates highly nuanced, strategic deliverables that are entirely indistinguishable from the work of an elite human strategist, instantly eliminating the manual labor of asset creation. A brilliant brain is completely useless without a highly responsive nervous system to execute its commands. If your cognitive matrix generates an incredible marketing strategy or a flawless batch of creative assets, but you still have to manually copy those files, format them into documents, upload them to client folders, and email them out for approval, you are still trapped in the technician's chair. You have simply shifted your bottleneck from creative production to logistics management. We eliminate this operational drag entirely by wrapping the cognitive engine inside a deterministic execution pipeline powered by Google Flow. This structural architecture serves as the physical hands and feet of your digital brain. It connects your centralized AI models directly to your Google Workspace, your project tracking databases, and your client-facing communication channels using webhooks and conditional logic scripts. The trigger event. A client submits an asset request or deposits raw creative materials into a designated Google Drive intake folder. The logic execution. The Google Flow instantly detects the new file upload, isolates the metadata, and routes it directly to the cognitive synthesis matrix alongside the specific client's identity profile. The fulfillment cascade. The system analyzes the data, executes the creative work, generates the polished deliverables, structures them cleanly into a client-branded Google Doc, saves it to their dedicated archive folder, and updates your internal database status to ready for review. This entire multi-tier production cycle happens in less than 90 seconds with absolute zero human keystrokes. Your business moves at an elite computational speed while your attention remains completely unbothered. When your agency's cognitive work and logistical execution are entirely managed by an integrated digital brain, your personal relationship with your business undergoes a radical transformation. You no longer spend your weeks reacting to daily crises or drowning in administrative maintenance. Instead, your physical inputs are compressed into a highly structured 4-hour weekly operating system designed exclusively for high-leverage oversight and systemic optimization. During Hour 1, you act strictly as a managing editor. You open your system's centralized review dashboard, scan the pre-rendered client deliverables that your automated pipeline has assembled over the past week, apply a final layer of hyper-nuanced human polish where necessary, and click Approve to trigger the automated delivery emails. During Hour 2, you shift into the role of a systems architect. You review the performance analytics of your automated flows, optimize your prompt injections based on client feedback, and fine-tune your operational data layers to make the system even more autonomous. Hour 3 is reserved for high-value client relationship care, conducting brief, high-level strategic alignment check-ins with your premium partners to ensure long-term retention. Finally, Hour 4 is dedicated entirely to outbound pipeline steering, where you review the systemized customer acquisition mechanisms that continuously feed warm prospects into your automated sales ecosystem. You are no longer working in the business. You are standing completely outside of it, spending just 240 minutes a week steering the machine. When you step back and evaluate this model through a strict financial lens, the economic asymmetry of a one-person digital agency becomes incredibly clear. A traditional agency generating $10,000 a month requires a complex, fragile ecosystem of human assets that aggressively eats into your profitability. By substituting a heavy human team with a streamlined digital brain, you don't just protect your personal time, you completely maximize your financial return. You reclaim the 30 to 40 hours a week that used to be burned on human coordination and project tracking, and you convert that reclaimed time into pure strategic freedom. You can scale your client acquisition effortlessly because adding a new client to an automated Google Flow network costs almost nothing in computing resources and requires absolute zero additional management overhead from you. Manual service delivery is an artificial barrier to your financial freedom. If you are still spending your days manually typing out client content, dragging cards across project boards, or fighting defensive battles in your email inbox, you are running an outdated, low-leverage operation. The defining shift in the modern economic landscape is that a high-leverage business is built on infrastructure, not payroll. If you are still trading your biological hours to manage team communication or manually format client deliverables, you are running an expensive management trap instead of a profitable enterprise. Your challenge over the next 24 hours is to trace the exact life cycle of your core service deliverable. Pinpoint every single moment data has to be copied, moved, or verified by hand between different software tools. Isolate those structural gaps because those are the exact touch points your digital brain will automate first to reclaim your time. To download the full systems map and prompt structures that allow a singular operator to scale a 5-figure agency with near zero overhead, check out the master architecture files linked in the description below. Hit subscribe right now because in our next system deep dive, we are revealing how to hook this automated execution network directly into a programmatic client acquisition pipeline that converts cold traffic entirely on autopilot. See you then.